How's it going, YouTube? NYC for Andy here. As you all know, Whispers of the Old Gods came out, and with that coming out, Hearthstone has started to use formats. And in these formats, only the last 2 years of expansions and adventures are able to be used. So with the first rotation of the old cards, we lost Goblins vs. Gnomes and Naxxramas. And with this loss, it got me to thinking. There were a few cards that I would have liked to see play, but never really got to shine to their full potential, considering the current meta and the oppression of the Doctor. When I refer to the oppression of the Doctor, I refer to none other than the original Dr. Balanced, Dr. Boom. You all know him, that giggling goblin. And because of that, just the fact that Dr. Boom was in the game, it made me start thinking, like, there are other legendaries that could have been played, but never saw any play just because Dr. Boom was around. Perfect example, Melora, the 9/7 legendary for 7 for the for Druid. Now 9/7 for 7 isn't, well, the greatest, but it's not the worst. And there were two reasons. Actually, there were a few reasons why this card never saw play. One, it did not fit into the Druid archetype at the time, which was basically, you know what, play a bunch of annoying shit, get them to 14 health, and then Force of Nature, Savage Roar. So yeah, granted, it didn't fit into that deck. It also didn't see play because, well, would you rather have a 9/7 on turn 7, or would you rather have a 7/7 with boom bots that do 4 damage to something? Because let's be real here. They always did 4 damage, you know. And well, yeah. So Melora never saw play in Druid simply because of Dr. Boom. Because Dr. Boom synergized so much better with Savage Roar than Melora did. Next up was Trade Prince Gallywix. Trade Prince Gallywix was an interesting legendary, no doubt about it. He didn't fit in the current rogue type at the time, which was pretty much oil rogue. But the thing about Gallywix was he was so hard to deal with because he was a 6-mana 5/8, which is just insane stats. I mean, a 6-mana 5/8. You look at the current card that's got the closest stats to it, which would be what, the Dark Arakoa, which was is a 6-mana 5/7 with taunt. Right, that's easy to play. But a 6-mana 5/8 in Rogue did not, even though it gave them more cards. And I don't know if this didn't see play just because of the simple fact that, well, Blade Flurry and Oil Rogues were much better than just playing Trade Prince, or the fact that Silence was rampant still then. Because if you think about it, Iron Beak Owl was still 2. Every Druid deck, when Druid was popular on ladder as one of the, you know, most played classes, every Druid deck had double Keeper of the Groves, which meant, well, yeah, you play Gallywix, but you know what? I'm just gonna silence it, ignore it, attack face, and then Force Nature, Savage Roar. Gallywix, maybe he was before his time, but he definitely was an interesting, you know, card. Next up, we go with Trogs. Yep, Trogs. 7 mana, 6/6. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, summon a Burly Rockdraw Trog, which is a 3/5 that gains, I believe, +3 attack every time they cast a spell. It doesn't matter. It's still crazy value. And the fact is that because Dr. Boom was so ubiquitous, I guess, well, you could play Trogs, which is a 7 mana 6/6, or you could play Dr. Boom, which kills Trogs and still lives. So, yep, Trogs never saw any play because of it. He was a pain in the ass to deal with, but I don't know. He didn't live to his potential. He never got a chance to shine because of Dr. Boom. And then we have Foe Reaper. Foe Reaper was, I believe, an 8 mana card, 6/9. Also, it damages the minions next to him. Crazy good value. Very hard to remove with the 9 health. It's super sticky. But the fact is, you didn't play him because you probably had Dr. Boom in your deck. I'm like, oh, I don't need 2 late game cards. They're going to be dead cards and all that. So yeah, he never got played pretty much because of that. Then we have the Hunter Legendary, which was Gazrilla, a 7 mana 6/9. 7 mana 6/9. Whenever this minion takes damage, double its attack. So it is very hard to do 9 damage in one shot. So he would easily be a 12, let's say 12/8, because I'm counting in the factor of the 1 damage. But he was never a 6/9. But the thing was, why would you play him in a Hunter? Because, well, at the time, Hunter was just mainly face Hunter and mid-range Hunter. And, well, it was a 7-drop. So, would you rather have Gazrilla or Dr. Boom? So yet another card held down by the Doctor. And notice, most of these cards also died to Big Game Hunter. The ones that didn't die to Big Game Hunter were vulnerable to silence. So it just makes me think, what would it have been like if Big Game Hunter was still 5 mana then? If Dr. Boom never existed? If the silences were actually what they are now back then? You know, because like, perfect example would be Foe Reaper, right? They can't do the 9 damage, so they just play a bunch of stuff and silence him. Then what? You have nothing. Let's see, another card on the list that never really got a chance to shine due to the oppression of both Dr. 7 and, well, at the time it was Dr. 3, the Big Game Hunter. It was Neptulon. Neptulon, I think he was way before his prime, because now it seems like Blizzard is trying to push Murlocs again. And the thing is, with Neptulon, he had overload, so that was one of his the biggest issues of dealing with Neptulon. You'd play him on turn 7, and then I believe he has 3 overload. You'd have 4 mana the next turn. Well, 5 mana, sorry. So they didn't have, you know, like Lava Shock and Eternal Sentinel now. So they didn't have a way for you to deal with the overload. I think Neptulon would probably be better in, like, it just gets me thinking, like, what if these cards came out again? Just to see how it was. Like, I can only imagine a Shaman deck now with Neptulon. You know, maybe I could play that instead of, you know, just having it make like a face shaman or something like that. It just makes me think. But Neptulon, you would add 4 Murlocs to your hand, but you'd gain 3 overload, so you wouldn't be able to usually play all those Murlocs the next turn. I mean, because let's say you got Old Murk-Eye from him. Old Murk-Eye alone is 4. So you'd play a 7/7 that would just die to the Big Game Hunter, and then you'd have overload the next turn. So, and on a further note, the next card isn't a legendary, but I still think he was way before his prime. The Steamlethal Sniper. Yeah, this little guy. Target acquired. Say what you want. I actually like this guy because I like the idea that a hunter could try and play control. But the thing is, when this card came out, there weren't that many good control cards for Hunter. So Hunter had a default to, well, me go face. I do hope that Blizzard in some time will like learn from their mistakes and like maybe reprint like a new type of Steamlethal Sniper effect, but instead of making it while the minion's on the board, just make it like a battle cry. Right? I think Steamlethal might have actually seen play if, well, then again, maybe not, because it was just a hyper-aggressive hunter meta for times. But if his ability was a battle cry, like your hero power can now target minions. Just imagine that instead of having to keep a 3 health minion on the board. Well, anyway, it just makes me think what it would have been like if certain cards were to the power level that they are now. I mean, let's see. We have Melora. Melora dies the big game hunter. Neptune dies the big game hunter. Gazrilla, after he gets pinged or something, he dies the big game hunter. Foe Reaper and Trogs did not die to big game hunter. Neither did Trade Prince Gallywix. But the thing about Trade Prince Gallywix, Trogs and Foe Reaper, they were all silenceable. If you silence Trade Prince Gallywix, he's a little bit worse than a Boulder for Stolger. If you silence Trogs, then, well, he's a 7 mana 6/6. So it just makes you think about that. How just a few cards could change the whole game. Like, if Dr. Boom was never printed, just imagine what these guys would have been capable of. Who knows? Well, anyway, that's my opinions and thoughts on that. Make sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe, all that crap. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I would like you to, but don't. But if you like it, like the video. If you disliked it, don't like the video. If there's a topic you want me to bitch and moan about, let me know. And once again, guys, I'm going to apologize for the camera quality. Until next time, NYC for Andy. Bye.